Hey family, and welcome back to another day in our daily devotional corner. My name is Nikia for those of you that are new here, and if you are a returning subscriber or someone that watches my videos and you're just here just to watch, just know that I truly appreciate the love and the support. And you can go ahead and you can comment, you can like, you can even share this video. I truly appreciate it. Even if it's just one person, I feel like it's just the one. It only takes one, right? Anyway, today's devotional is going to come out of Proverbs 34, chapter 34, verse 19, and it reads, "The righteous person may have many troubles, but the Lord delivers him from them all." Isn't that so good? Isn't that so good to know that we are expected to have troubles, but we will be delivered from them all? So it's just like, it's basically telling you, be prepared, right? Be prepared to go through and have these troubles, but just know you'll be delivered. So it should just be like taking a test, that you study for. And you're studying is having your relationship with the Lord, right? That's one. Having a relationship with the Lord, and I mean sitting in his presence and praying to him and talking to him. And remember, your prayer does not have to be this long, perfect prayer. There's no perfect prayer. It's a conversation like you have when you're talking to, your friend or your mom or your sister or whomever. You talk to the Lord like that. Sometimes I find myself and I be talking to him and I'm like, wait, did I really just say that? Like, should I have, changed that? And then I have to remember, like, he already knows. He already knows, but that's just how comfortable you got to be in talking to your Father, where it's just like, it's a relationship that we have. So I know that he's a trusted friend. I know that he, like, there's nothing that I can say to him that's going to, surprise him. Okay. There's just like with a parent, your kid, right? It's like nobody can tell me nothing about my child that I don't already know. Because you're given that wisdom and that knowledge, right? But remember, God is always dependable. If you can't depend on nobody else, and we can't depend on man, because men are made, not men like in like the sex, but like us as a people are made to like let people down. You understand? Like there's no way for no one not to let anyone down, and it can be through a mistake or intentional actions. Okay. When we think about righteousness, right, there's one thing I want to touch on too, because it's like the righteous person may have many troubles, right? But who is righteous? Because I'm not righteous. It is said in Romans chapter 3, verse 13, no one is righteous, not one. But we know that God in Jesus Christ is righteous. And God is so good that his grace that is given to us, because of his grace that is given to us, it's like their righteousness is extended to us. Do you understand? So it's like it's a covering that is given to you, because that's how much he loves and he cares for you. We think about like when we're going through troubles, and troubles could be anything, I feel like he shows up in so many different ways, right? Your troubles can be, maybe you lost a family member or a loved one. He's there to comfort you. Because I've been there. I lost my grandma, I want to say 2 years ago. And that was a hurt, because my grandma lived to be 90 years old. I felt like my grandma was going to live forever. Do you hear me? And it was a hurt that I experienced, but the comfort and the peace that God gave me behind that, I was able to move forward. Do you understand me? It didn't take away the hurt, but I was comforted, where I was able to find peace in it, knowing that she's way better off than I am, at this moment. I'm and he shows up in comfort and in correction. Like he corrects me all the time, because we don't always make the right decisions. In my time, and with me, sometimes it can be the way that I react to certain things. I am defensive a lot of times when I don't need to be. And when I jump off and I'm getting defensive in things, my tone can be a little like, and I don't mean it, and it's not personally or intended to, to be so like defensive with things. I'm a work in progress, and I'm acknowledging that. But I stand corrected because after I have made that wrong decision, I feel like I get convicted right away, and I say, okay, I was wrong. I need to check that, and I need to acknowledge that in front of whomever it was that I just, made this offense to. You think about, like, like he reminds us of true things, because we get told a lot of lies. We get things that is said about us. We get things that, like things that can say that is told to you that can be hurtful. But he reminds you that those is not true. That's not the way he looks at you. That's not how he sees you. And you got to remember that. And you got to remember who your true self is, okay? And he gives us wisdom and discernment, okay? So your wisdom, I read this sign one time in this church, and it said, wisdom is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Knowledge is knowing not to put it in a fruit salad. And I thought that was such a good analogy, because you have the wisdom to know where, that a tomato is a fruit, where it comes from, but to know, okay, but just because it is considered a fruit, we know not to put it in a fruit salad. And I thought that was such a good analogy, how you can compare wisdom and knowledge. And then he also gives us discernment, okay? That's why it's also good to have a personal relationship with the Holy Spirit. I prayed and I asked the Lord, Lord, fill me with the Holy Spirit. Fill me with the Holy Spirit, because the Holy Spirit has a way of connecting you. He's like the middleman, right? Because sometimes there might be a certain prayer that we should be praying, and we as a people don't know, and we ask the Holy Spirit intercede for us. And that's how I like to do it. Holy Spirit, intercede for me. Speak the words that I should be speaking. Ask for the things that I should be asking for that I do not know. Holy Spirit, lead and guide me, because he's like the middle person from God to us. And I always pray and ask the Lord to fill me with the Holy Spirit, right? Because that discernment is really, really, really good. So it's used to be able to give you it's like an alert. It's like an alarm. It sets off at the right time. So discernment is really good. And these are different ways that God shows up for us when we are going through certain trouble. If there is one thing you can depend on, it is that God is alive and present in your life. And he's never gonna leave you nor forsake you. And he's always gonna be a part of your life, through the good or the bad. And no one person is perfect. No one person stands and goes through this life without any problems or any inflictions. I feel like we all make bad choices, but we live and we learn. We live and we learn. All right, family. So we're getting ready to bring this daily devotional corner to a close. I pray that you guys have a blessed week and that you have a good night. And Lord willing, I will see you in tomorrow's daily devotional. Have a great one. Bye.